A very helpful tool that can be used for backing up files and making copies of files for later retrieval is an application called Disk Utility. To begin, I'm going to open a new Finder window, and then I'm going to go to the Go menu, and I'm going to choose Utilities, and that's going to display the contents of that Utilities folder in my Finder window. So I'm going to double click on the Disk Utility application to open it on my computer. Now, Disk Utility is very useful. It allows you to basically create a virtual hard drive that you can move to other computers and then reopen. It's also a great way to make backup copies of CDs and DVDs that you own. So for example, let's say I wanted to be able to move these files around on other machines or maybe archive them for later retrieval. I can come up here into the toolbar and click the New Image button. I can give my image a name. I'm going to call this image Total Training. And I'm going to put it on my desktop. You can just click on Desktop in your sidebar here. And down at the bottom I can choose how big I want this disk image to be. So for example, for the size, there's a lot of the commonly used sizes in here, such as common sizes for CD-ROM disks, common sizes for DVDs, as well as custom. In this example, I'll choose custom, and I'll make this 200 meg. So I'll click OK. And then I'm also going to make sure that I have it as a single partition, which means one big disk. And image format, I'm going to set it to read-write so that I can always add files to it later on. So if I click the Create button, you can see that it's creating this image on my desktop, and it's also going to mount the image right away. By default, the image itself is not mounted, and I can't really access the contents until I double-click it. So these two files are really connected. This is the mounted image that I can open and view files with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag my project files folder directly on top of that disk image folder. And after a few seconds it should copy the entire contents to that folder. If I double click on it, I can see that those files have been copied to my image. Now to help you to understand this, I'm going to click on the mounted version of this image, and I'm going to drag it to my trash can, which changes over to an eject icon. Perfect. Now the files really reside in this image, which has a .dmg extension. So if I double click on this image, it's going to remount it. Here's my disk. If I open it, there's my project files. So as you can see, this is a great way to share files across computers. Now I'm going to eject this disk again, and I'll close this Finder window, because this is a file that I can then copy to another person's computer or even burn to a DVD. That's the really nice thing about this. So if I go back to Disk Utility and I click on my totaltraining.dmg file, I can click the Burn button if I want to burn this image to a disk. Now again, you can see that there's other hard drives. All the hard drives that are connected to your computer are listed in this sidebar. So this is also a great way to actually make a duplicate of your hard drive if you wanted to. I could click on my hard drive and choose New Image, and then I can choose for image format, choose CD or DVD master. I'm going to hit Cancel. I could also click on the entire drive. So this is only a partition within the drive. I can click on the entire drive, choose New Image. This time I would end up choosing the same thing, and I can give it a new name if I wanted to. Now you generally would not do this if you wanted to copy your hard drive. You would click on your main Macintosh hard drive and create a new image. Now one of the things you're going to run into is that it's going to give you an error because a lot of these files are in use and it's not going to be able to duplicate them. So what you may need to do to make this work is you can boot up off of your Snow Leopard install disk. And once you have booted up from that disk, you can go to the Utilities menu and access Disk Utility in the same way. As a side note, when you create this disk image, it is going to be huge. It's going to be the same size as your current hard drive. So it helps to have a big external hard drive where you can save that disk image when it's finished. Why would you do this? Well, oftentimes you may want to reload your system, or you need to send your computer in for repair. It's a great way to just make a duplicate of your hard drive that you can use when you get your computer back. In addition, in some cases you often want to set up multiple computers in the exact same way. So what you would do is make a duplicate of that hard drive and then re-image it onto all those machines. You can also restore a hard drive. When you click on this, you can come over here and click Restore. And then you can choose a source image and a destination where you would like that image restored to. You have to remember this is going to wipe out whatever drive you choose. So this is getting a little bit complex, but for now, understand that creating an image allows you to store files onto that image for later use. I'm going to go ahead and exit out of Disk Utility by choosing the Quit Disk Utility option under the Disk Utility menu, and I'm going to clean up a little bit by trashing this drive image that I created, and then going to the Finder menu and choosing Empty Trash.